Hubsan Zino Mini Pro, new update. Got that coming up next. Bill the Drone Reviewer here. If you like the content of this video or anything on my channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you don't miss any future content. With that, let's begin. Last night I hosted Rotor Talk Live and was joined in the show by Mr. Ron Braun. We spent the better part of the evening discussing a new update regarding the Hubsan Zino Mini Pro. Among the things we discussed were the email I received from Hubsan, the video that was put out showing something very interesting on the drone that hadn't been discovered before, and a possible release date. So without any further ado, let's roll this clip in its entirety. Yeah, it's time again. The Zino Mini Pro update. I was, you know what? Seriously, I was hoping by now Ron would have his first video out. Marcus would have his first video out. I would have my first video out. No such luck, okay? No such luck. First of all, I want to give you guys an update for me personally. Now, I emailed Hubsan US support, okay? They replied back. Yeah, I know. Drum roll, you know, shock waves, all that kind of good stuff. Earth shaking, you know. They actually replied back. Good thing. Good thing, okay? And let's go ahead, and I'm going to go ahead and share this here. All right. Hello, Bill. Thank you for your inquiry. I can't offer an exact date at this time, but it'll start shipping soon. I see your order is scheduled to be shipped on the first batch, which is already completely sold out. Thanks, HubsanUS.com support team, okay? Now, we've been hearing ad nauseum a date of August the 10th, okay? That has been, that's about as good as it gets. That is about as good as it gets, folks, okay? And look who we have joining us at the perfect time, Mr. Ron Braun.
Hello, Bill, and hello, everybody in the chat. Welcome, folks from South Jersey here. How you doing, Bill?
I'm doing great tonight, Ron. How are you?
Doing well. You know, we had a kind of overcast day here, but luckily for me, I know the whole country's burning up, but it's been, you know, a cooler than usual summer at the Jersey Shore for, I don't know why.
Well, it was actually kind of on the chilly, I won't say chilly side. We had a lot of rain today, and then the sun came out, but it never really kind of warmed up. It was quite breezy.
So you got a break.
It was a cold swim tonight up at the pool when we went up after dinner. It was
okay.
a little on the chilly side, but the hot tub was nice. Well,
okay.
you probably just saw I had, you know, I got an email from Hubsan. They said mine's in the first batch, which has already been sold out, and it'll be shipping soon. And I was just saying, just before you joined, you know, it's like I was hoping by this time I'd be watching your video or Marcus's video, or people would be watching mine for the first flight. But here we sit again, a week later from last week, still talking about this doggone drone.
I mean, you know, even Captain Drone, those guys don't have it. So I mean, yeah. I mean, we keep talking about it. It's just you know, either there's no drones to send out to the reviewers, or they're just keeping this on total lockdown. And for whatever the reason is, it you know, it kind of, I hate to say it scares you, but it just, you know what I mean? It does kind of concern you, right?
Yeah. You know, it's just, this is probably one of the most, and I'll use the word puzzling drone releases I've seen in a long time, because, you know, even when, you know, even with Fimi, okay, and, you know, they put up that video from, what is it, how many, probably 1,000 feet up at night, and, you know, and do all this stuff. At least they even had a video, okay, before it came out. And here we are, okay, a week away. We still haven't really seen a video from the Mini Pro, you know?
Right. And the only person that we know that actually has it is L3 Toys. And for some reason, he only made one video on it. So he must be told not to do anything with it. That's all I could think of it. And you talk about your response from Hubsan, and Marcus reached out and he got a good response. So apparently the PR people at Hubsan must just be told, just tell these people anything they want to hear. Just say yes, it's coming. I don't know if you're getting true feedback because everybody keeps getting the answer they want to hear.
Right. It's exactly right. It's what, and this is what I wanted to hear. Mine's in the first batch, which is a good thing, and I'll be getting it. And and if it's like Rick Smith said it is, okay, and if they come out of their East Coast, you'll get yours right away. I'll get mine fairly soon. Who knows when Marcus will get his? But I mean, if they're doing it, they're distributing by the East Coast, okay, that's gonna bode well for those of us on the Eastern Seaboard.
For anybody east of Mississippi, though, they're in good shape. Yeah.
And one of the things that I'm still, in this big mystery and this big puzzle of things, okay, the set of features on this drone, it's we've talked about it ad nauseum, but it's a potential Mini 2 killer.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like if you and I sat down and made our wish list up, when we make these wish lists up for drone, we go out, they never all happen. It's like we sat down and made our wish list up, and they all came true.
Yeah, exactly. It's like we took a grease board, we wrote things. It's like you and Marcus and I got together, had a meeting, and we just wrote things on a grease board. What we want to see in a mini drone. Okay, we wrote it all down. Okay, and what's Hubsan do? Here it is. Okay, and it's like, huh?
The only other devices like this, I know you're not into 360 cameras, but it's like the Insta360 One X2, like that I got early this year or a couple months ago. I mean, it has everything in it. I mean, they didn't leave one thing out. You know what I mean? Like anything you could think of, it's built in it. It's just like we're talking about here. Somebody wrote all this stuff on the whiteboard and they said, okay, we'll just put it all in. I'm not saying it all works like 100% to the max, but it's all there.
Yeah, it really is, and what, and the other thing here too, okay, it's like, all right, one trying to up the other all the time. It's like, okay, because DJI DJI has something in the works already for the fall, okay?
Right. The Mini 3 or the Mini 2S, whatever they're calling it, it's already, even if they haven't built yet, it's very far along in the planning stage.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And one of the things too, with all this, you wonder why, now, some of the pieces of the puzzle here really are starting to make some sense. Okay. The Fimi rushing their Mini out. Okay. It was a rush job. Okay. They got that thing out so fast it made your head spin. And, like Gorilla Man said, it wasn't beta testing, it was alpha testing. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, everybody who got it was just, that's exactly what it was like, and we were the ones that suffered through this. Okay. And, I just think for me, okay, I don't want to have to go through this with the Zino Mini Pro. Okay. I want a drone out of the box, maybe with a firmware update. Okay. I'm not saying anything.
Even DJI has that firmware update when you first get their new drones. That's acceptable.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. A one update is good for me. That's something that I really like. But, on the other hand, I don't want to have to do like with a Fimi, like 4 or 5 updates and, oh yeah, Horizon Tilt's taken care of, but sort of. And
yeah, well, we broke it in the next update though, so it's back to what it was.
It's back to what it was. We broke it, and it's like you get tired of that, and I know that's one of the things with a Fimi X8 SE 2020 that I got tired of was with a firmware update, it would correct something, but then something else would go wrong. Okay. And then they'd correct that, and then the other thing would go wrong. And and you would try these stopgap measures that would work, but it would only work for just a little bit. And then when you would do the inevitable return to home, the Horizon Tilt sometimes would pop back and be what it should be. I don't know. It's just like, I'm hoping that when the Zino Mini Pro gets here, that it's pretty much everything everybody says it is. Now, one of the things that I saw today, and I want to bring up this picture. and I don't know if you guys talked about this last night or not, was let me see. Do I got that picture of this?
The DJI drone in the box?
No, I talked about that earlier.
Okay, yeah, we didn't get that. That broke like right before the show came up, and I think they talked about it in the chat a little bit, and that's mostly enterprise subject. You don't get a lot of chatter on.
There's not going to be a lot of chatter
on those enterprise things. I mean, the only good news for us is that the FAA is granting waivers to these people to fly the drone, I guess, beyond line of sight.
Yes.
It comes out the box and does its inspection.
Yes, I did see that. Okay. I saved this on my other computer, but anyway, okay. On that, that video that came out last week of the Zino Mini Pro that Hubsan, obviously.
The one that revealed the memory card slot, we think.
Right. And I was going to put a picture up that showed that memory card slot, which, okay, there's a whole other can of worms with that, Ron. Okay. A whole other can of worms because, nobody has said a thing about a memory card because everybody's been saying it's internal. Okay.
Right.
Lo and behold, guess what? Okay. Memory card.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Marcus threw a little shade on it last night saying, well, maybe it's a slot there, but maybe it's still not a memory card slot. Maybe they're using the same body for the SE and it's a dummy memory card slot. Anything's possible at this point, but I'm with you. I'm guessing it really is an SD card slot.
Yeah. And that's a whole, that's a whole new ball game here because with that, okay, people are like, okay, so there's a slot there, and have this, but they're touting the feature of having this massive amount of internal storage already on the drone. Okay. And now there's a slot there.
Yeah, I'm going to stop you right there, Bill, because they still may be on top of their game in this because when even a drone like the Air 2S came out, okay, everybody loved the Air 2S, but what's one of the few things the reviewers ding the Air 2S on? The small internal memory of only 8 gigs. Mm-hmm. Everybody said it should have had it should have had at least 32 up to 64. So Hubsan did do what all the reviewers dinged the Air 2S for.
Yeah. So they got this addressed, which I think is fantastic. And now the big question for me has been, okay, is this, and now mind you, DJI had a couple of glitches when I tried first using internal storage and trying to get things off there and everything in it. And you had to, especially with your Windows computer and all that, I'm not 100% sure, but there was a workaround for it. All right. And then finally, you were able to do that and there wasn't any problems. My concern is we get to it and there's really, I don't want it to be a cumbersome process, Ron. I want to be able to plug my cable in. I want to see it recognized on my PC, whether it's a Mac or a PC, and I want to be able to download those right away. I don't want any having to do this or do that. I want to be able to do that, kind of a thing.
Yeah. I mean, I can tell you on the Mac side, the Air 2 and the Air 2S and even the Mavic 2 Pro, getting the memory off the internal storage is pretty seamless. It just shows up on your desktop as like an external hard drive, and you just drag the files off. Yeah.
So I'm hoping it's going to be like that. I'm hoping we don't have to deal with any kind of long procedure or anything.
This is a good thing you brought up here, Bill, because just think if you're right about this, what if it did not work? What if you could not get your files off that internal storage? Now we have the memory card slot to save the day if there is an issue, Bill.
Yeah. That's one of
that probably is why I think, because you said people would have been ready to protest if they couldn't get their either data off that internal storage in the Mini Pro.
Oh yeah. I'm trying to bring up. I know where the picture is. Well, I know where a picture is of it, and I'm trying to bring that up right now. because I want people to take a look at this. I'm not sure if everybody's seen this picture. I think I'm really hoping this time around. I'm hoping that through all that giving Hubsan a little grace here. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I understand the deal about the chips, and that's something that was totally out of their control. They didn't have any control of that. Okay. I'm really hoping that this time around, that it is what they say it is. Okay.
I'm going to give them the same kind of. I'm still going to give them the benefit of that. Hopefully, all this extra time they're behind the scenes tweaking this thing, making sure this thing is good to go, making sure this is ready for the average flyer. Making sure they're not putting out a beta product.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's my great hope too. That all this time is going to get us a better Zino Mini Pro on day one.
Well, I got that image up here.
Yeah,
I stopped the video. Yeah, I got that, and you can see right there. It's pretty obvious right there what that is, and
right.
That's just something I think. Wow. Okay.
But I like the design in the back. I like those the sensors where they are in the back, and the battery lights on the back, so you kind of maybe see that from the air if you're close enough. Rather than light speed on top, you may be able to have the drone in the air and still know your I know your controller tells you, but the more ways you can see what your battery life is, the better, Bill.
Exactly. The more is always good, and in this instance, it's the same here. And having that right there, I think that's fantastic.
Now I saw somebody dinged it. See look on the right arm, and see the big slot where the arm, where it would open and close. You see that that big opening there with probably maybe the blackest in his cable. A lot of people are saying, well, that's too open, like dirt and stuff could get in there. I think the arm looked very similar on the Zino 2 or whatever to that.
Yeah, and I don't think Hubsan has not had. That's something Hubsan's never really had an issue with. Okay, I know from the original Zino, the Zino 2, they've never experienced that, and I haven't really seen anybody talk about that. Okay, and I think that's a pretty valid point. And it is a fairly big opening over here, compared to like DJI drones, where it's pretty seamless. You don't really see a lot with them, but we're talking about
that could possibly serve as also a heat release point also, Bill.
That's possible, Ron. That's very possible, because as you're going forward, you need to have a lot of exit for that heat because it's going to be building up a lot of heat, especially if it has the kind of processor that we think it has. It's going to get hot in there, and it's going to need a way to cool that down. So it's going to need a lot of airflow, and the more airflow through there, the better. Okay,
because this is going to be the first consumer drone that I know that has that 1 1/3 sensor in it. So it's going to be a little bit. It's going to be smaller than a 1-inch sensor, but it's going to be bigger than the quad bear sensor that was in the Mavic 2. So I guess the heat problem will be kind of in between those two chips.
Yeah, I think so. And again, I really think that there will be, there might be some issues with the heat on this. Okay, and I'm just obviously just conjecturing because nobody has the drone yet. Nobody can really tell. But with that kind of a sensor and that kind of a processing power and this small of a platform, okay.
Unless they need all the heat release points they can get on this drone.
Yeah, exactly, Ron. That they're going to need to be able to release that heat, in a very efficient way. And I know they did their test when they had their botched live show. As far as runtime is concerned, but of course, that's always a static test. But I don't think you're going to get. If you get 30 minutes with this drone, you're doing lucky. Okay, and that's probably on a calm day. If you're going to have some wind, you'll probably get 25 minutes, I would think, all right, on something like this. Plus, You don't want to push this in sport mode, I don't think. Okay. But again, because of that heat buildup and things like that, you know, I just don't see that happening with this kind of a drone. But again, you know, we're just kind of conjecturing here for stuff like this.
Because unfortunately, we don't even have a Captain Drone video to watch to change anything on it.
Question of the day: what do you think of the new update regarding the Hubsan Zino Mini Pro? Let me know in the comments section below. Thanks so much for watching, and remember, it's a great day to fly.